And it's time now for me to shake hands with a genuine superstar. It is Wayne Sleep OBE. Welcome to GBNews.
How do you do?
There you go. I found your hand. Wayne, a thrill to have you. Of course, it's time for Mark Meets, in which I always speak to the biggest names in the world of politics, showbiz, sport, business and beyond, or those who simply have a big story to tell. Wayne Sleep OBE is a British dancer, director, choreographer and actor, plus reality star. At 5'2", he is the shortest male dancer admitted into the Royal Ballet School. Because of his diminutive stature, many directors were reluctant to cast him in traditional male lead roles. As a result, many roles were created for him by some of the world's greatest choreographers, including Rudolf Nureyev. Wayne created the iconic role of Mr. Mistopheles in Lloyd Webber's smash hit musical Cats, and he's been a fixture in dance and musical theatre ever since. In 1973, he established a world record by doing an entrechat douze, a jump with 12 beats of the feet on the British television programme Record Breakers. This record still stands. Wayne is also famously remembered for having danced with Princess Diana at the annual Christmas party of the Friends of Covent Garden at the Royal Opera House in 1985. He has proved to be a huge star of reality TV as well, appearing in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, Celebrity MasterChef, The Real Marigold Hotel, and he appeared in The Real Full Monty, celebrating the original movie's 20th anniversary and raising awareness for prostate and testicular cancer. He also appeared in the BBC's Queer as Art documentary celebrating the LGBTQ contribution to British arts in the 50 years since decriminalisation. A hugely talented dancer, personality and British national treasure. It gives me huge pleasure to welcome Wayne Sleep to the programme. So, Wayne, welcome to the show.
Thank you for that entrance.
Well,
God,
listen,
I can't live up to that.
Thank you for that entrance. I'm flattered. I bet you say that to all the boys. Now, listen.
Yes, I do.
We are very happy to have you here. When did you get the OBE?
A few years ago, actually, yes.
Was it the Queen or the Prince Charles?
I had Prince Charles.
Brilliant.
Well, funnily enough, I suppose I won't get anything else after I tell you this story, but I was at the gates of Buckingham Palace, and I knew that it was going to be Prince Charles on the Tuesday, so some of the, the guys with guns, the police force, said, we've got bets on how long he'll talk to you. I said, what do you mean? They said, well, it's Prince Charles. I said, oh, is it? I said, well, I don't see anything wrong. And then I knew there must be a rift. Diana's friends and his friends. And I didn't know that at the time. But then I thought nothing of it. So I thought, oh, well, here we go. So you're meant to go and you shake hands, then they push your hand back. So that means get out. So after they've given you the medal, and he walks back 3 steps, bow and go off. So when he gave me his hand, like you give it now,
go on.
I kept going. When he pushed me this way, I went, oh, how lovely to see you again. I just made it last a little longer. But he laughed because he knew what was going on. So we had a little smile.
Quite a moment. And that photograph of you dancing with Diana, that was an iconic moment in popular culture, wasn't it?
Well, it's incredible. I mean, it was only a 3.5-minute dance. I mean, I got this phone call because she'd asked me to teach her, but I couldn't because I was on tour around the world with my own show, Dash. And they said, expect a phone call from Princess Diana. So you have to be in place by her phone, get it all set up. And she said, oh, it's Princess Diana. He said, I'd like you to dance with me at Covent Garden this Christmas, etc. I said, well, I think we'd better meet first, because I knew she was very tall and I'm a midget. And so she goes, she was there. The first time I ever met her, she was in a dance studio, and she was in pink tights, leg warmers, jazz shoes, headband,
definitely
and wristbands, very 80s. And she went to me, da-da-da, and I looked up at this towering inferno of beauty, and I thought, we can't do this, it's going to be a laughingstock. And then I said something, I warmed up a little, and I said, do you mind if I sit down? I've had a very late night. And she went, you naughty boy. And that's when we clicked, and our humour developed, and that's what kept us going for 10 years together, I think. It was the jokes and getting away from the serious part of our jobs. And then I realised that we could send it up slightly. Yeah. So she'd do a kick over my head, push me down, I'd do a pirouette, she'd run to the corner, I'd lift her across the stage, and we got 8 curtain calls. And every year when on the anniversary of her death, everybody comes from all over the world asking me for snippets or little conversations about the dance we did together. I didn't realise it would become so iconic as that, 3.5 minutes. And she chose the music, Billy Joel's Uptown Girl, and I hadn't got an OBE at that point. And I remember saying to her, you've got to bow to the royal boss. She said, I'm not bowing to him, he's my hubby. I said, no, but we have to. So I made her bow, and as we ran out, she went, you won't get your OBE like that.
Why was it such an iconic moment, do you think?
I think it was showing her individuality.
And she was dancing with another man that wasn't the future king, of course?
Well, of course. And I think, I mean, if you're royal, they would be used to be doing that sort of surprise entrance on stage at Covent Garden, because a lot of them had done it before, so it wasn't unknown. But for her to do it on her own and with me, I think it was not the sort of thing to be done, perhaps, you know, especially 3.5 minutes.
You both looked amazing. It was a great dance. Did you remain friends then?
Oh, yes, but then we became friends.
Yeah.
And she used to come to lunch. I'd cook trout with almonds, the only thing I could. And she served that, and then I'd give chocolates to the boys, which she devoured a lot, and then probably went home and, you know. But, well, that's what started to happen. But towards the end, she had become a little bit sort of, who can I trust? And a bit like that, and questioning me a bit as well. And I realised that, you know, who could she turn to when she was alone and isolated like that?
Yeah.
But
and we know that she was mightily stitched up by the BBC over that panorama.
Well, there you go. I mean, who do you trust after that kind of thing happens?
Right.
I mean, there were all the photographs of us, which was about 20 photographs, were all in the Daily Mail. She'd given me the only copies she had, and I think she thought I'd sold them, but I hadn't at all. It was the photographer who'd done it. I wouldn't let her down like that. But, I mean, one funny day, we're talking about Diana all the time. Is that all right?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
We'll talk about your tour in a minute. Very excited
well, that'd be
about that.
nice. That'd be nice. We've got time.
Of course we do. We'll make time. Don't worry about that.
Thank you so much.
And we've got to dance. There's a lot to get through.
Oh, of course we do. You know,
We've got to overcome the height difference again.
we do. Stand up.
Although I'm no Diana.
Cool.
Well, can you get a wide angle? Can we get a wide angle on this, Faye? What do you think? How much can we... Oh, there we go.
There we are.
OK, now what do I do?
You're about the same height as she was.
Is that right?
There we are.
That's where the similarities end, I
That's
think.
it. I think so, yes. Not wrong, yes.
Well, look, that's another one on the bucket list, firmly ticked. I have danced with Wayne Sleep, OBE.
No. But I'm going on tour now with my own show.
Well, let's talk about that. So,
Well, it's called An Audience with Wayne
you've
Sleep.
been unlocked down. You've been freed from
I
the
feel I've
shackles.
come out of hibernation.
Yeah.
I've been 2.5 years where we go on stage, because for us who dance in theatre and live, that's our career's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and that we're only now picking up from that. And a lot of the theatres have lost a lot of their staff who drift away over 2.5 years, who've been running theatres.
Skilled
and now
people.
And skilled people. Now they've got to skill new people and give them, you know, what to do. So we're all like fighting through it. But I'm going all over England this year, and I'm doing an audience with, and I can't wait for the questions to come at me. I've never done it before.
So an audience with Wayne Sleep.
Yes.
And I'll get my team to work out how they can get tickets. I mean, obviously you Google it, but we'll get the website.
Yeah.
Tom will look after that. We'll give that out in just a moment.
Yeah.
So it's obviously it's Q&A, bit of dancing as well.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, how couldn't there be?
Well, I can't help it, actually.
Absolutely.
But I do a tap dance to the Sailor's Hornpipe, like the last night of the proms, and it gets faster and faster, and that's at the end of Act 1. Yeah. Then I might do a bit from musicals I've been in, like Cats, or I play the MC in Cabaret, you know, I might do the Money Song. And there's tons of stuff to do, but there's a poem when I did the Entrechot, which you mentioned earlier, that was in the Guinness Book of Records. It goes a bit like this, but I'm doing it to rap, but I'll just do the first bit. It was in the New Yorker magazine the week after I'd done it, because it went all over the world, the news that I'd done this thing. And it goes, a dreamlike leap from England's sleep. He didn't doze, he did a doze. His legs arose and curlicues. It goes on and on like that. So I think
brilliant.
that might be fun too.
That's brilliant. Did you have any idea, as you developed Cats with Andrew Lloyd Webber, and you created the role of Mr. Mistopheles, did you know that it would be the monster global hit that it would become?
No.
Because it was a gamble, wasn't it, creatively?
It was a difficult birth, shall I say. I mean, they'd mortgaged their houses, they'd sold all the rights for marketing, just to get
it was
enough
an
money.
unconventional idea, wasn't it?
And we had to postpone the previews for 3 weeks.
Because of technical problems?
Yes, it just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And things happening all the time, boys getting injured because of the dance ability. We were dancing in rubbish, all that sort of thing.
And do the public want to pay a lot of money and hire a babysitter just to watch cats dancing around?
Exactly. And funny enough, it's on a revolve, and all these Americans would come and they'd be sitting there and they'd just be facing dustbins and rubbish, and they said, we can't see the stage, but they didn't know that the stage then revolves and they've got a wonderful view. But we met so many famous people that way. That's what I loved about it. I mean, for something that I didn't... It was so difficult. We were so in it, we didn't really know if it was any good at all. Mm-hmm. But then suddenly on the first night of the previews, and from on and on and on, the standing ovations that came with it. And we had T.S. Eliot's poems, let's face it. We had Trevor Nunn
with good material,
directing it,
right.
And it was meant to be Judi Dench, but Elaine Page took over and made it a sensation. And
what happened to Judi Dench?
Judi Dench snapped her Achilles. I was rehearsing with her The Gumby Cat, which was another part.
And could she sing?
Yes, she can. She did
not as well as Elaine Page.
Different. I'm not going to say anything. I'll be shocked.
Yeah.
But totally different interpretation, probably. But they were totally different kinds of people. But whatever it was, it worked in the end. And but I remember we were rehearsing and we were doing a step that Gillian Lynn was choreographing for me, and she turned and said, "Wayne, did you just kick me?" And I said, "No." Her Achilles had shot right up into her kneecap.
Oh, no.
And that was it. She
quite
came back and she was in plaster with things. But you see, it would have been all right if she could just walk flat on stage. But we were having to get through rubbish and vehicles. And so she collapsed slightly and she just realised that she wasn't going to make it. So upset.
Well, that's not a bad swap, is it? Not a bad substitution, Elaine Page.
Tell you.
Incredible musical actress. What a singer, what a voice. And tell me about working with Lloyd Webber.
Well, I like it very much. And he gave me another thing after that. After Cats, that I was in for 9 months, I asked him if I could have the variations that he'd done for his brother on variations on the theme of Paganini. And that's what I was doing. I was taking my classical stages from the Royal Ballet and popularising it in West End shows, but still having that technique from the classical ballet, which nobody else had at that time. And he was doing the same, coming from the Royal Academy of Music. I'm doing jazz and all that sort of stuff, so it suited me, this album. And he said, why don't we put Turn Me On a Sunday, that I've done for Marty Webb, and the other album together, and we'll just do it for 12 weeks. Would you like to do it? I've just bought this little theatre called The Palace last week. Would you like it?
Amazing.
For your New Year's present. So I said, would I? And it was most of the last 12 weeks, and it lasted 3 years. So, and I did revivals of it, so I've got a lot to thank him for. And he put dancing on the map in a way in this country in musicals. We always had to wait for musicals to come from America to see good dancing on stage in musicals. But he changed all that, so I thank him for that.
And where is your heart? Is it ultimately in classical ballet or popular musical theatre?
It's in both. When I was younger, I wanted to be a song and dance man. I was only 8.
Fred Astaire.
That was it. Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, all that stuff. And I didn't actually get round to doing that. I did Cats when I was 32 or something. But I'm so thankful to have had the ballet, first of all. The adjudicator stood up and rang a little bell and said, oh, that's an awful picture of me.
Oh, no.
But,
you don't have a bad side, let me tell you.
No, that is a bad side. I don't like it. Anyway, never mind. Sorry. Nobody's ever,
I think it's a great pose.
OK, thank you. But anyway,
Only you could pull it off.
But anyway, I can't remember what I was talking
about. But you were saying that you're actually very glad that you had the classical training.
Yes, because
you said a bell would
if
go.
you start with... that's it. I was only 8 and I sang 5'2", Eyes of Blue, and I won the cup for the under-12s. I'd never been in a competition. My family weren't a theatrical family. I didn't have a theatrical mother or anything like that. And to cut the long story short, she rang the bell and said, where is this boy's mother? He must learn ballet. My mother flew out of the Methodist Hall, never to be seen again. My son, ballet never.
So music, was music in the family, was dancing in the family at all?
everything musical was in the family because we didn't have a television and we had to make our own entertainment.
Right.
So at a Christmas party, in the sitting room of my grandmother, all the chairs would be around the edge of the walls because everybody's expected to get up and do a turn.
Great. And was your language always through dance? Is that what you gravitated to?
Yes. Well, I won a scholarship out of 300 other kids to the Royal Ballet School when I was 12. So I had to leave the rugby team where I was hooker in the West Hartlepool Tech when I was 12 and go down and live in in Queen Victoria's hunting lodge in Richmond
Bit of a
Park.
culture shock.
It was, but what a wonderful way to do it.
Yeah.
You can't go into ballet after you've done the musical theatre. You've got to start with ballet. You can't, you've got to start that from a very early age. And then I didn't grow, so that was the end of that.
What are your emotions when you dance?
The music lifts me, and I can't describe it, but to do jumps around a very big stage, I like a big empty stage, so I can almost become airborne as you jump. And you just feel that moment where you actually are defying slightly gravity in a way, and you feel airborne, and it's a sensation that I couldn't ever get anywhere else in my life.
And what about your height? Has it been an advantage or a disadvantage?
No, it's a total disadvantage. You have to be 5'7". I mean, the girl might be my height, when we were doing pas de deux, but then when she goes on her toes, she's another 6 inches taller. But then Sir Frederick Ashton, who was director of the company, he created rows specially for me, and I'm glad to say that they've just invited me back to the Royal Ballet to coach some of the rows that I created.
Well, yeah, that's right. You're now a tutor and a mentor as well as continuing to perform. Do dancers improve with age? Can you do things now that you couldn't previously?
No. Not at all. I've got a total hip replacement. Look at it.
You've got a new hip?
Yes, lovely, isn't it?
Is it gold-plated?
Well, it should be.
It's definitely working, let me tell you.
It's lovely, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. In fact, it's not the only organ that's working, so well done.
Oh, thank you.
It's fantastic that you can still perform, isn't it?
Well, I think, if you're born with it, you look after yourself, you can go on. And that's why I'm doing this audience with. There's a lot more for me to give. And I want to send out the message that if you're bullied and you're a boy at a dance school, at your normal school and all that, you can get over that stuff, and I did. And you find a humour, you just laugh it off, even if it's not funny. You just have to rise above it. And also, people being told, oh, you're too wide, you're too this, you're too that, you're not the right style. Don't listen to that.
You had the ultimate excuse being a little shorter, but it didn't stop you.
Well, I changed the negative side to positive. And I think that's a good lesson for people to learn.
Elton John was told by one particular piano teacher that he had the wrong kind of hands to play the piano.
What a load of... It's okay.
It is. That's important, isn't it? As you say, you take the negative, turn it into a positive.
Yes.
You are the patron of the British Ballet Organisation, Vice President of the Royal Academy of Dance, an ambassador for Prostate Cancer UK, and also a supporter of the Terence Higgins Trust and a high-profile gay man. How have things changed for gay men in Britain in your lifetime?
Well, it was against the law when I was younger. We had to do it behind closed doors. And I didn't want to be gay, because it was frowned upon, it was against the law, and it would have been easier to be straight in those days, quite frankly. But then we changed the law, and I hope that, we opened a door for people. But now they're still campaigning for different causes, and I suppose it's sad that they still have to do that in a way. When I look back, I would have thought it would have all been done and dusted for them now, but I feel sorry for them. Then when AIDS came in, we had a freedom before that of cruising, getting boyfriends, girlfriends, but then a big stopper went on it, and it became lockdown in a way. So I feel sorry for them in that way, but it's joyous that they've got a voice now, and they have to be respected for it.
And you're in a good place. You've got an amazing career. You've got an OBE, remarkable CV, and you're living in West London. You've got a south-facing garden.
Yes, first garden I've ever had.
In fact, we dragged you out of the garden this evening,
You did.
didn't we?
Yes, you did, but I'm glad to be here because you're charming.
But
I also have my own foundation, which is the Wingsuit Foundation, which gives top-up grants to kids who can't afford their board and lodgings from vocational schools. And that was formed a year after, on the anniversary of Princess Diana's death.
Another great legacy, the Wayne Sleep Foundation. Well, we've got those tour dates, Wayne.
Good.
And I shall be attending because
You
it's
better.
an absolute privilege to meet you, and I've got to see the show. So if you're watching the show or listening on DAB+, let me tell you that Wayne Sleep is live, an audience with Wayne Sleep across the country. 22nd of April at the Exchange in Sturminster, Newton. 6th of May, the South Holland Centre in Spalding. 18th of May in Weston-super-Mare. By God, you got more gigs than I have. 28th of May at the Tacky Morris Centre in Taunton. And the 29th of May, the Palace Theatre in Paynton. You're everywhere. The Palladium next.
This is just the beginning.
Just the beginning. Wayne Sleep OBE, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you very much.
on GB News. What a privilege.
Lovely to talk to you.